James Bond is very tricky to play. It's a balancing act between being a killer and an assassin and also being a gentleman at the same time. You have to be able to teeter and play both sides of the character. It's not just one. And that's what, and it isn't like Batman where you can wear a mask half the film, or Spider-Man when your whole face is covered in your whole face and body is covered in costume. It's you the entire time, and it's a balance, and that is what Daniel Craig does so well. He can show the brutality of being a CIA assassin, of killing people and having to fight and risk your life on a daily basis, and seeing how much you're willing to risk to defend your country. And at the same time, he has an ability to show that he's a gentleman, right? That he can walk into a casino and play a card game, or he can go into a party in Shanghai and show that he is would be one of the most richest people in the world. Yet Daniel does a brilliant job of balancing both of those things at the same time, and also showing that he is a masculine, dominant figure, someone who is believable, someone who can actually play this character physically. You can kind of believe that Daniel can beat up three guys, right? It isn't like certain other actors where you don't really see that, and I think that's what not enough people give him credit for, is that he is believable as a fighter. If you walks into a bar, you think Daniel Craig can fight, and that's what I love about him as James Bond. I also like that he chose to redefine the character, right? Instead of choosing to play Bond as too gentlemanly or too, he chose to just make the character his own and ignore all the haters. When he got cast as this character, and no one wanted him as Bond, no one wanted him because he was too short, had blonde hair, and he just made the character his own. And he showed a lot of emotional depth by playing him throughout his entire run, particularly in this film. In this film, he really has to show Bond as an aging old man, right? We see it in the beginning when he's doing the tests, and he does a great job showing his emotional vulnerability. Or he struggles to do all the tests that he needs to do in order to become a CIA asset. He obviously comes back. He has an opportunity to disappear, but he chooses to come back because he wants to be a part of the MI6. This is the world he wants to be a part of. And overall, Daniel Craig is brilliant as this character. He redefined the character of Bond. He made it something we had never seen before, which is what people want. They want, they're just saying the next guy won't look like the last guy. And I think that was what Daniel Craig was trying to do. It was like, I'm not trying to be Pierce Brosnan. I'm not trying to be Sean Connery. I want to be me as this character. I want to make this character me and make it as myself, as my own type of person, and make it original. And that's what he did in this film. And now to the subway chase scene, to the finale of the Scottish Highlands. All three of those fight scenes, including the insane chase sequence in the intro of the film, all keep you at the edge of your seats the entire time. Let's break down my favorite, which was the chase scene in the subway, which is not necessarily, what makes that chase sequence so great is that Bond, it keeps you mellow throughout that chase sequence, right? He figures out that Silva is hacking the MI6 headquarters, and Bond is quietly chasing Silva, walking through the packed London transit, and he's kind of chasing him around, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. You're seeing, and then boom, right there, Silva realizes he's being followed, and then it takes off. It becomes this insane chase sequence all across London. You feel like you're in London, right? That's what makes this movie so good. So many Bond films, they don't really acknowledge London. They kind of go, it's there for one sequence, and then they take it to another country in Europe or in Asia. This movie uses London perfectly in an action sequence, and that's what Bond is. He's not just a CIA operative who goes all over the world. He represents London, and I like that chase sequence. It makes you feel immersive in that city. And another brilliant sequence was the ending in Scotland, Skyfall, where Bond grew up. That was a great way to wrap up the film, and most of all, a great way for M and Silva to finally meet in the church with the lighting in the theater. I remember watching that in the theater, feeling so emotional, right? Because you just went through this insane action sequence where Silva comes on a helicopter blasting music, and then Bond starts shooting at them, and then it keeps you on the edge of your seat. You don't know what's going to happen next, and then you're in it all wraps up in a church with there's fire, and Silver's covered in blood, and he's, you're in, in the theater, I remember it being so dark, right, in the theater, and you're seeing him just pour out his emotions, look at this woman who betrayed him, who he thought was her friend, and then eventually he kills her, and they both die, and then Bond comes in and says, "I'm the last rat," and it kind of wraps up the entire story, right? And all out the action sequence all fit so well together, and I thought that was really well done to have every action sequence balance out one another. You have a chase sequence in London and the opening sequence as well being the chase, sort of foot chase part of the film. You have the great hand-to-hand combat sequences with Bond in Shanghai and then at the very end, and some great gun shootouts as well. It has a great balance of action sequences throughout the entire film where it's not too heavy on certain action sequences. So ultimately, that's what makes this movie so great, is everything is balanced out very well. It was a huge success with Casino Royale. And then in 2008, the sequel, Quantum of Solace, which was very rushed and a movie that was never had an opportunity for its feet to take off, came out. Quantum of Solace completely bombed, bad reviews, and people thought the Bond franchise was over. A writer's strike also happened in between both Quantum of Solace and Skyfall. So what gave the Bond writers and the producers time to develop a new script, and most of all, bring in a new director who has a vision that can carry the character into the future. They brought in Sam Mendes, who worked with Daniel Craig on Road to Perdition, and it was an opportunity to help reinvent and bring a different style of James Bond to the world. What makes this movie so special, it has global appeal, and it was the first time we saw Bond at an old man Bond, seeing if he could fit into this new world of tech, of this new England, that can he fit into this world? Is he still have value to MI6 and to serve his country? You get Judi Dench, who returns as M. You get new characters like I think his name. He has an incredible villain. Javier Bardem plays Silva, who is a former MI6 agent who was betrayed by Judi Dench's character M in order to really for her to keep power and keep power and keep control of her job. So she betrays Silva and basically picks Bond to replace her. And this movie is really about his sort of revenge, right? He wants revenge on M and all the people in MI6, and Bond's kind of stuck in the middle. That's what makes this movie so great, is that this isn't a Bond verse like your typical Bond villain where they're going at it. This is really about Silva versus Judi Dench, and Bond is kind of in the middle. And that's the one thing that I like about this film, is that he gets thrown in the middle of the film. At the same time, he's dealing with aging and wounds on his body and all these other things. And I thought it was a great sort of aspect where he's in the middle of all of the chaos, rather than him being the one everyone's trying to kill. Most of all, another thing that I liked about this film is Javier Bardem. He is, like in most films, whether it's No Country for Old Men or Vicky Cristina Barcelona or any of the films that he's been in, he's always incredible. He's charismatic, but also strange. His character tries to seduce Bond, and he knows how to use his charm and the ability to balance charm and evil at the same time. Cyber terrorism is very oversimplified in the movie, where Silva kind of uses it whenever he needs to use it. He uses that to his advantage. The fact that, I can have a spy satellite over Kabul. I can attack someone from 10,000 miles away. Cybercrime is so easy. It's the future. You can do anything you want anytime. Where really in cybercrime is much more complicated and much more nuanced than the story is telling you. It's not as easy as Silva's making it out to be. And I think that's something that the story kind of doesn't really look upon. Was incredible. I think it's the best Bond film ever made. I'm gonna give this a 9.3 out of 10. It doesn't get any better than this for James Bond. It's gonna be tough for anything to follow up this. They haven't made a better Bond film since 2012 when this movie came out. So if you like this film, please like and subscribe.